What's going on, everyone? This is Iris. So I'm going to get right into this subject. This is concerning all of the things that have been going on with YouTube recently. I'm going to start off with kind of how it started with the whole restricted mode thing. So as you guys are all aware, YouTube went ahead and made changes based on, I guess complaints that they had been getting throughout their community of people complaining about, seeing certain things that they don't want to see. So they went ahead and implemented this thing. It's called restricted mode, and it seems that when a user has it on, they're unable to see or search things, videos, content that YouTube's deemed inappropriate and so forth. And I really didn't pay too much mind to it because I don't think my channel was really, controversial or anything like that. But it was odd. One day I went ahead and I put restricted mode on and I took a look and none of my videos came up. And what's funny about it is that, you could say, well, Call of Duty is an M-rated game and this and that, because what I'll do is I'll go in and select the game. But it's still odd because I do have videos that have no game selected for it, and the content, the subject is not adult orientated. I would think it's, I don't want to say kid friendly, but it would be something that if a kid listened to, they're not going to cover their ears. And those videos weren't showing, and I was kind of like, well, that's odd. I mean, not that I want 8, 9-year-olds or 10-year-olds, whatever, watching my content anyway. But a view is a view. And if they're not able to see it, that kind of sucks, right? And again, I'm small. I really didn't pay any mind to it. Really didn't think too much to it. And turned out into this big thing where I guess the LBQT, whatever community, the gay community, hit them the hardest because I guess they put out, positive content regarding, their gender or whatever you want to do with all that, and they were getting blocked from their audience, which, for them, regardless of how you feel about it, sucks for them as content creators, right? Because you want to at least be able to reach your community, number one, and you'd like to think that you're able to reach a community outside of that so that you could draw them in. And it wasn't working out for them. Now, I understand that, eventually they got into the whole what happened with PewDiePie thing where, and this kind of leads into the whole YouTube ads fiasco that's going on right now, right? So that turns into where the Wall Street Journal did what they did to PewDiePie, and now advertisers are pulling out from YouTube and pulling their ads because they don't want their ads to potentially run on content that's inappropriate or what they feel they don't want to be associated with. Which, as a business, I'm assuming that that's their right to do. Now, I don't know if they had contracts with Google or Alphabet, whatever you want to call them, YouTube. I don't know if they had contracts that said, you sign it and the term's good for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be, for them to be able to just yank their stuff. I'm sure there's some kind of liability term without getting into the whole legal mumbo jumbo about it. But I'm sure, there's some kind of monetary thing going on behind the scenes between all these companies and everything as well. So then it turns out where, I guess KeemStar, you guys have seen it. KeemStar did his video with Scarce, and he does all these Twitter videos about content creators. They're going to be losing money and this and that, and what we could do and blah, 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 and all that stuff. It's probably going to turn into a typical KeemStar, whatever. Most of them don't work out. Some of them do, but, he does what he wants, and he's successful at doing it, and, he can do whatever he wants. However, one thing I want to get into where I kind of made some tweets yesterday concerning the YouTubers who were complaining about this, about losing revenue and such. And listen, if you're lucky enough to be able to use the income you make from YouTube to sustain your lifestyle, and that's your job, that's great. That's a wonderful thing. God bless you. If you believe in God, that's wonderful. Good luck to you and your family. However, just like any other job, sometimes shit happens and either it comes to an end, companies go out of business, they go bankrupt, or you get fired, or you leave. There's certain various things that happen in life where you have to change employment. And if the change is, YouTube doesn't really owe any of us anything. They're a company. They're doing change. They've got a bottom line. They're going to lose almost $1 billion. They have to figure out what they have to do to recoup some of that cost, right? So they're doing what a company does. Now, us as content creators, as employees, if you want to call it that, we have a choice to make. Either we could take what they're going to give us, or we could go look for employment somewhere else. And for most of us, I would say, at least most of you listening to me right now, you guys have a regular job. You do, you do YouTube as a hobby. If you make a couple of bucks, it's great. I mean, eventually I'd like to get to that point. I've made $21.99. But anyway, you understand what I'm saying. You got channels like, Thunder. He doesn't really care. He's got a real job. It's all cake money to him. But then you got people like a T Martin or a Drifter, or, this is their job. This is what they do. Now, they may have to go out and get another job. Now, it might be on another platform doing the same kind of thing. They might move 100%, just as an example, to Twitch, or, if VidMe figures out a way, maybe people are going to move to VidMe, or maybe they just do Facebook or some other platform that does, they'll be able to get paid for doing videos, right? So maybe they could do that, and that's fine. Or they might have to get out and go get a real job to support their lifestyle and their family. And I don't understand what some people are complaining about. Some of these, bigger YouTubers that are, they're going from what I hear 40% down to 18%. I think they said about DramaAlert, and it's like, all right, well, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. That's the way businesses run. I mean, they're doing the best that they could do to do what they have to do on their side for their money, and these guys all have to make a decision. YouTube doesn't have to give them anything. They don't have to keep it whatever the CPM is, or this and that. I mean, shows you how much I know. I don't even really mess with the money at all, so I don't even know how that all works out. I mean, I look at my AdSense and I have no idea what any of it means. I just know I need like $80 more to maybe one day get a check. But these guys that are bringing in, God, I mean, how much, like, people like who do I know recently, like Rice Gum and KeemStar and Chaos and all these guys, Drifter and T Martin. These guys are making a lot of money. And if it's not going to be there, I'm sorry, they have to do something else. Smaller channels like us, I mean, whatever, we don't care. Most of us don't even get money from YouTube anyway. And if we do, if you guys do, because I'm not included in that bunch, it's only a couple of dollars. I mean, there's nothing really to complain about anyway. We all have regular jobs, and we would do what we have to do in our regular life to make that money. We'll go get another job, go back to school. There's a lot of YouTubers who are young. They kind of either they got lucky and they hit that algorithm thing and they decided to skip college and they're doing YouTube full time. And listen, that's fine. That's great. You know what? You might have to start taking classes. You might have to check out University of Phoenix or something like that, where you can get a degree and have a backup plan. I mean, I know KeemStar used to work in a lawyer's office or something like that. And, I don't know what, I don't think Drifter really did anything before YouTube besides school or whatever. But, you got to have a backup plan as well. You got to have something to fall back on if your current job doesn't work out. And a lot of these kids, they're going to learn this the hard way. Everyone gets a trophy generation surprise. Sometimes you don't get a trophy. Sometimes you have to go out and earn that trophy. You have to go out and earn that paycheck somewhere else. YouTube's a company, just like any other company with employees. And sometimes people leave. Sometimes people are forced to leave. And you guys all have a decision to make. And you make the decision based on what's best for you and your family. It was a good run. Some of you have great lives, great houses, great cars, great Christmases, this and that. I do, but I have a regular job. If YouTube was my regular, if I was lucky enough at some point to be making that type of money, and I would have a backup plan. A lot of these guys, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but instead of complaining about what's going on with YouTube and the advertisers, listen, that's their prerogative. That's their choice. If that's what they want to do, they're out. They don't want to be associated with this, and they don't want to be associated with that because this person does that type of content, and this person, unless Google had a way that they could target the advertisers' ads to go to certain channels and not go to certain channels, until this is what we got. There's probably going to be more changes as they fine tune it. They'll probably break some other things. I want to believe they're trying to satisfy everyone, but like a lot of other things that are going on right now, it's like the small percentage gets the most attention, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen with this. I wish them all the best. I wish those content creators the best. I don't want to see anybody get evicted or thrown out of their house because they can't make money off their YouTube videos, which to me as a 42-year-old sounds kind of silly, but to an 18, 19, 20-year-old today, that's kind of like their real life. You know, what are they going to do? So, listen, go back to school, learn a trade. If you know, join the military, it's great. You know, if you don't want to go out and get shot at, join the Navy, something like that. You go on a boat, take a nice cruise every few months, and you have a great time. You see the world. You get 3 squares a day. You get a place to sleep. It's great. It's like a long vacation. Take a 4-year vacation. So yeah, let me know down in the comments how you guys feel about it. I know I know a lot of you are probably going to say, you know, tough shit to them, and you know, and that's fine too. Put that down in the comments. But I think most of you will agree, because most of my audience is a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned, and would think of this just like I am. I mean, you know, I'm sorry it didn't work out. Pat them on the back with their cardboard box. Maybe some of them, they get a gold watch and call it a day. I mean, go somewhere else. You know, I mean, you can milk this for as much as you can, but sometimes you get to the end and there's a fork in the road and you got to make a decision. And a lot of these kids are not ready to make life decisions like this. They're not prepped. They're not ready for it. A lot of them just don't know what to do. They're freaking out. You know, the YouTube is their little bubble. It's their little world. A lot of them have no idea what it's like in the real world. And, you know, sometimes it's a shock, but, you know, the human brain is able to deal with this stuff, and they're just going to have to learn and move on. So that's all I got to say about it. I don't want to say I rushed it, but it was kind of on my mind. And now that I'm feeling better, I'm getting my content out. So I kind of pushed this video up in front of some other ones that I'm working on, just to let everybody know I'm working on yeah, I know some of you probably are going to be too, I don't want to say happy with it, but I'm trying to figure out how to do like a Pokemon Go video, just because I do play it a lot, and I kind of want to, there's some Pokemon channels that I watch. I'm going to try to emulate some of what they do as far as the editing and stuff, but I'm still trying to figure out how to do it in Vegas, putting that together. And then I got to get started on my part 3 in my Navy series, the boot camp, which probably most of you have been waiting for, is the actual talk about the boot camp. So I'm going to be working on that very soon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to have, like in Vegas, I'm going to try to have some videos like already done and edited, that at any time something pops up, I could just jump real quick on the mic and get the commentary recorded, so I can kind of stay relevant with what's going on during that day or week or whatever's current, so I could stay current with everything that's going on. So listen, wow, almost 13 minutes. If you guys have stayed this long, I really appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments that you've stayed this long, and see you on the next one. Later.